In 2006, Turkish activist and author Elif Shafak gained widespread attention when accusations of insulting Turkishness were leveled against her due to her best-selling novel, The Bastard of Istanbul. The controversy transformed Shafak into a wanted criminal, compelling her to flee her homeland. The alleged insult stemmed from Shafak's characterization of Turkey's 1915 massacre of Armenians as genocide. Subsequently, Shafak has dedicated her literary efforts to advocating for Turkey's marginalized communities, openly embracing feminist and anti-authoritarian ideals. Shortly after the release of Shafak's 11th novel, 10 minutes 38 seconds in This Strange World in 2019, her Turkish publisher faced a police raid. Numerous writings were confiscated for scrutiny. The novel recounts the memories of an Iranian sex worker named Tequila Leila immediately following her brutal murder. Though Leila's heart ceases to beat and she is discarded in a dumpster, her mind persists for 10 minutes and 38 seconds. The initial part of the book delves into her dying recollections, while the second explores the repercussions of her death on characters introduced in the first section. Lying in a waste bin, the 40-something Turkish prostitute, Leila, is aware of her demise. Sensing the stillness of her heart and the absence of breath in her lungs, she anticipates that authorities will promptly recognize her identity. As a known local figure, her profession is no secret. In her final moments, her mind undergoes a surge of activity, with vivid sense memories flooding her expiring consciousness. Time seems to stretch, condensing long spans of her life into brief moments in the real world. The initial chapters of 10 minutes 38 seconds in This Strange World each cover about a minute of Leila's dying, revealing specific incidents or portraying individuals significant in her life. Through these chapters, readers gain insight into Leila's challenging upbringing, born to her father's second wife, but raised by the first. From the onset, her life proves to be a tale of hardship. Her father, a deeply religious man vehemently opposed to anything he deemed Western, becomes increasingly zealous as he ages, imposing a life of devout austerity on the women in the family. Singling out Leila, he claims she is not as selfish as the others. Despite her upbringing, Leila, a strong-willed and at times brash young woman, escapes to Istanbul to evade her restrictive environment. Unfamiliar with the complexities of the sprawling city, she unwittingly ends up being trafficked into prostitution in one of the government-sanctioned brothels of 1960s Turkey. Elif Shafak portrays Istanbul without romanticizing it through Western lenses, stating, "Istanbul was a dream that existed solely in the minds of hashish eaters." In truth, there was no Istanbul. There were multiple Istanbuls, struggling, competing, clashing, each perceiving that, in the end, only one could survive. Following Leila's death and burial in an unmarked grave in a cemetery for societal outcasts, the narrative shifts to focus on the five: Nalan, Sinan, Humaira, Jamila, and Zainab, Leila's close friends, all misfits or pariahs. Together, they conspire to retrieve her body for a proper burial. The tone of the novel changes significantly at this point, becoming comedic and farcical as the group encounters various obstacles in their quest. Critics have pointed out incongruities between the first and second sections of the novel, particularly the unexpected final section. Some argue that the five are thinly drawn characters serving as tokens for genuinely oppressed minorities. It is suggested that Shafak, in her eagerness to amplify the voices of the marginalized, may have overlooked providing them with individual, authentic, human voices. Despite this criticism, the first section of the novel has garnered widespread acclaim, praising the ingenuity of the story's premise and its attempts, albeit not entirely successful, to shed light on the challenges faced by some of Turkey's most vulnerable communities. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.